The New South Wales opposition maintains the state will be financially better off under a Minns Labor government following the release of the party's costings. Julia Bradley has the details. What's the Shadow Treasurer said today, Julia?
Well, the Shadow Treasurer, Daniel Mookhey, has just held a press conference following the release of those costings by the Parliamentary Budget Office. And he has suggested that under Labor, the budget would be $1.4 billion better compared with the Coalition, also suggesting that debt would be $4 billion lower under Labor. But most of the questions that were put to Mr Mookhey today were more about what wasn't in those costings. In particular, this promise that Labor's been very vocal on about scrapping the public sector wages cap in order to come up with a pay rise for public sector workers. Chris Minns, the leader of the Labor Party, confirming this morning that that increase for public sector workers would be above 3.5%. Here's what Daniel Mookhey had to say.
Isn't it irresponsible to not even put a target in there for how much scrapping the public sector wage cap might cost the economy?
Not at all, because what we are wanting to do is come up with a better system. We're promising a better system that allows us to sit down and talk with essential workers about how we can improve their pay and conditions so they stay.
Also in focus this afternoon, following the release of these costings, the West Invest Fund. This is the $5 billion fund to go towards projects in Western Sydney, but the government is accusing Labor of wanting to strip $2 billion out of that fund that they say has already been committed. But Daniel Mookhey maintains that this is more about choosing priorities that suit Labor, and that would only be a small portion of that fund that's put towards other priorities.
He's utterly wrong, and I would just encourage the Treasurer to read his own budget. We are taking our priorities from the general government allocation, not the community allocation. If the Treasurer would be wise to realise he's the one who split the fund into two. Not one single dollar is coming from the local communities component of West Invest or the local government component of West Invest.
The opposition also continues to ramp up its attack on the government over what it believes is plans for further privatisation under a re-elected Perrottet government, even though this is something that Dominic Perrottet has ruled out, particularly when it comes to the potential sale of Sydney Water. We saw this morning Chris Minns unveil a mobile billboard really pushing this message, and that's going to drive through some marginal seats like Oatley. We also today on the campaign trail saw Labor target a real range of all Liberal held seats in southern Sydney. So that was the focus today on that message around privatisation, also on health. We also saw an appearance from Chris Minns' wife, Anna, as well as his mum for the first time.